So thank you CII Telangana and Mr. Chakravarti, for having all of us here, and thank each one of you to spend whole day here for this knowledge sharing session. And CII is always ahead of what is required to share their knowledge, for conducting such a wonderful workshop. Really, it's a great learning for me as well, being here. Now, coming to this session, green chemistry, ESG, and global expectations. This is the topic of the session. We have, like you already mentioned, variety of experience, clinical, API formulations, operational excellence. It is a combination of panelists which we have here. When we talk about pharmaceuticals, we all talk about saving lives, right? Now, the problem before all of us is, how can we save lives without affecting the world? That is the problem before all of us. Our industry, pharmaceutical industry, we mastered in quality, safety, efficacy, right? But the bigger problem here is the new era which is coming, sustainability, right? I think since morning, most of the people must have talked about this so far. I hope it is not going to be repetitive. So the green chemistry, which we talked about, is a science leading this change now. When talk about the sustainability, green chemistry challenges us to develop new processes which operates with lower solvents, lower resources, lower carbon, all those things, right? Science is not enough here. We are talking about when it comes now ESG. ESG is environmental social governance. This transforms, ESG transforms our intentions, good intentions, into a reality with respect to the sustainability. Now coming to the world is watching us. Many speakers already spoken about. I personally faced problems with this. EU and US already, their expectations are already very, very high with respect to the sustainability and all, green chemistry. And investors, buyers, regulators, they're all expecting just not the compliance. They're expecting much more commitment for us. By going this way, the future of pharmaceutical is not just by innovating molecules. It is also innovating in commitment. So, that's why I already mentioned earlier, saving lives is not enough as a pharmaceutical industry without harming the planet and society is more important for all of us. With this background, I request, starting with Sunil, what does green chemistry and ESG mean to your organization?
So, if I put in, say, one sentence, let me put it little metaphorically. So, if the innovation is the fabric of your organization, then green chemistry and ESG is the thread of that fabric. So, it is stitches with that fabric. So, I would say we are not there yet. Part of the fabric is not that strong. That means stitches are not done that strongly, but that is our ultimate goal. So that means ESG and green chemistry, we need to make part of the fabric of our organization. That's how in one sentence I would tell about it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Very, very well said. I think the same, Mr. Rajaram, with same question to you as well. With respect to your industry, can you give a single liner?
Imagine a situation where your API sales guys go, or your formulation, you're bidding. Your first question most of the buyers will ask is, what is the price? Right? And now imagine a scenario where he's not asked the price first. He's asked, what is your carbon emission per kg of API?
That's good.
I think that's a paradigm shift we are talking about. And this is not a futuristic scenario. We are witnessing this now.
Right.
A lot of times we get this query, what is your carbon footprint per kg of API? Right? So price is not a determinant which used to be long back, right? We used to fight for price and say last man standing kind of business. I think the world has evolved. And if you look at recently concluded the Davos event, they said what are the global risks? Short term, they said geopolitical confrontation. But if you look at long term risk, I think 7 or 6 in that list of 10 are related to environment. And I think that speaks volume, right? And my sense is this is no longer optional. I think gone are the days when, do we put SA in our API COA? We don't, right? We assume it has to be in that range. Otherwise, it will not be qualified. And I think the sustainability, these things have already become, part of COA in that sense. I would say, you wanted one word. It's difficult, but I would say it's now business imperative. It's no longer optional or differentiation, or it's just business imperative. You got to do this. You don't have any choice.
Thank you very much, Rajaram. The sharing your experience, the Laurus Labs, particularly where you're working, they are supplying medicines to the global market, and your experience is very helpful for in this. I think any one of you want to add into this, Suresh or anyone? Yeah, please.
Yeah. So for my organization, it is while producing life-saving products, we also should not harm the people with the carbon footprint. So as a one-liner, make more with a less carbon footprint. So way back in 2015, the Paris Agreement happened, and so many countries are involved in this treaty where we are combating with the global warming to ensure that we should not increase the temperature beyond 2 degrees and with a cap of 1.5 degrees, right? So we also started our journey of sustainability way back in 2023 with the targets in terms of carbon footprint reduction and sustainability, scope 1, scope 2, scope 3 emissions reduction. So what I would like to add, so we want to make more with a less carbon footprint and ensure that patient safety is maintained.
Thank you. I know Mr. Krishna Prasad is leading from the front with respect to the sustainability in Granules India. Now we talked about the green chemistry is the science behind all of this. I request Dr. Suresh to talk about what green chemistry principles are most impactful in pharma today. Can you share any examples, because you are already in advanced stage?
Sure, sir. Thank you. So fortunately, I had both experience, API almost 10 years and then formulations. And I had chance to explore different operational excellence and process engineering initiatives. Way back when I was in Newland, I tried photosynthesis reaction. Now I could relate one of the new innovation which I recently saw on LinkedIn. So IIT Guwahati student is converting carbon dioxide into methanol with a graphene-based photoelectric. So recycling back carbon to a meaningful solvent. It's a good initiative, but I could connect the dots. Like earlier when I was doing photosynthesis reaction, so I could connect this, and even in terms of solvent, when we are using solvent, just tweaking the operating parameters, you can sell a lot of solvent. So in one of the reaction where the salt was settling down and we need to transfer the liquid solvent, it was one of the solvent which is very harmful to the climate. So initially we used to suck the solvent, but we think the recovery was very less. Then instead of that, we tried to put the pressure with a blow leg, and the recovery has improved a lot, from 70% to 90%. So just tweaking the things can help us to ensure the solvent recovery as well as. So I could connect the dots in terms of green chemistry. And there are so many examples. The currently, whatever the process, if you tweak a bit, we can do it more efficiently in terms of even ABP, which is efficient process. Just tweaking the way you granulate will help to reduce the time by 30% and even improve the throughput in the downstream process. We are working on that. Even pellet processing also, it's a long process cycle time. So we are tweaking that process also, which will cut down by 1/4 of time. So while we are making more efficient, we are also reducing the carbon footprint in this process. And even I had a chance to work on a continuous manufacturing process where in API, if you see, we did a heterogeneous catalytic reaction. In that, it was a continuous manufacturing we aimed it, but 1 mole of product was generating 1 mole of byproduct, and we worked on electrodialysis project where we can convert the same ammonium sulfate back to the key raw materials. The slight tweaking and understanding the mechanism and going to heterogeneous catalyst will help to reduce the number of process steps, and even we can control the byproducts which can recycle back to our raw materials. So that is where green chemistry plays. Even the granulation, if you see, we can go for a dry granulation roller compactor where the solvent requirement would be very less. Even in terms of cleaning, if you see, the cleaning with a meaning, so we have to clean more efficiently. If you put a high-speed jet, so we can clean effectively instead of pouring and making more and more effluent and load on the environment.
Thank you, Dr. Suresh. I think you touched upon the continuous manufacturing as well as Bhaskar was talking about. Like, no, I know, like, see, if you, I'll give an example in the same case, Granules India, where the continuous coater, which can convert 500 kilos per hour capacity in 20 hours. If you do 10 tons of coating, you can do the same thing. Like, if you use a normal batch coater, maybe you may end up in maybe 1,000 to 2,000 kilos, not more than that, even if you are very, very efficient. So, like, the continuous manufacturing definitely can help. And you talked about the cleaning. Now, pharma industry, the cleaning is a hot topic. Cleaning of equipment, cleaning of ducts, you clean everything. But like now, you end up spending lots of water or any other solvents in this process. But using a highly efficient nozzles, you can make a significant difference. Even the investment is slightly high, but it saves you a lot. There are, but you need to put a lot of interest in that. And I can proudly say, like, no, of course, Trinad was there with me when we are doing that work. By using efficient nozzles, we can reduce the time and we can reduce the quantity of the water we use. And also, you don't need to inspect. So we want to reach that stage. Like, no, this all helps. Dr. Rajaram, do you have any examples to share with us?
Yeah, I think after hearing, one thought which is coming to my mind is treating waste is going to be your single largest ingredient in the API costing now.
Right,
it's not going to be the intermediate or KSM or anything. It's,
Right.
yeah, it's going to be, that's going to be the key cost contributor. So couple of examples, sir. Enzymes and biocatalysis is a word, I think, which was not in our dictionary 6-7 years back, right? We used to hear some papers here and there. Sitagliptin started that trend. You had one enzyme. And of late, what we have seen is a lot of products, right, use enzyme. So I think most of the multinationals these days have moved to biocatalysis process. And it's not just use of one enzyme or two enzymes, and we are seeing a lot of complex enzymes being used at various stages. So which is a clear trend in how industry is moving. Three other examples which I wanted to share. We have a company, Laurus Bio in Bangalore. They help with enzymes and biocatalysis. They also have precision fermentation capabilities. We are working with a cosmetic company. And the mandate within it's a global big number one, number two, that range. The mandate internally is 70% of all the ingredients which they use in their cosmetics have to be bio-based source, which is a big statement to make, right? For such a big cosmetic company, you would think. And we are working with them, helping them develop those products, and then so that they can use it in their products. And similarly, there are many examples from many industries where people are looking at more sustainable sources. I mean, pharma, we are all familiar. I'll share a couple of other examples. So artificial meat is becoming popular, artificial dairy, so much so that flavors and fragrances, we're working on a project where we are saying sandalwood oil, can you actually make that in fermenter rather than cutting the sandalwood tree? Santalol gives that unique smell. And we're working on a couple of such initiatives. One classic case study, which at least I saw, wanted to share that product, atorvastatin, we are all familiar. Few years back, all the API suppliers had classic chemical route. API pricing used to be $250 to $280 a kg, give or take. And then a company came, they used a biocatalysis enzymatic process. And they launched at 180, 190 a kilo. Don't quote me on these numbers, but these are the wide, broad ranges. And what you saw in a few years, all the formulation manufacturers, a lot of them had DMF, their own DMF, they moved to this source. And that's the power of biocatalysis. And this is no longer a textbook thing, and this is business in action. You see, right? You use biocatalysis. Some people say upfront investments are high, but I would say long-term investments are much more significant, and hence things like biocatalysis have become now an everyday thing. Similarly, you said flow chemistry. If you see flow chemistry these days, everyone wants to do flow chemistry. I mean, Drills has a institute on flow chemistry. On the formulation side also, there are a lot of examples. You said continuous coater. That's a great example where people have used. There are many examples which come to my mind, but I would say these few for now.
No, thank you very much. See, the green chemistry, like we all talked about, basis for the sustainability when we talk about, the examples shared by you, and particularly usage of the biocatalysts and all, it is going to be a real game changer coming forward. Now moving on to the ESG part. Now we talked about the green chemistry. We learned from our fellow panelists. Suresh explain the ESG and the key ESG metrics, what you follow and where we are. If you have anything about the Indian standards, where we are.
Yeah. So way back in 2023, we started as a baseline of our sustainable journey. And we are aligned with the Paris Agreement. By 2030, we want to reduce our scope 1, scope 2 emissions by 42%. And currently we are at 32% reduction from the baseline. And scope 3 also we have targeted 42% by 2030. And now we are at 24%. And we have a target in terms of CSR initiative 1 million by 2032. And also we are also working on the water positive, where we are trying to water conservation initiatives like harvesting and self-reliant in terms of ZLD. We are working on this. So these are the initiatives which are the metrics in terms of environment. We are working on reducing the waste, zero landfill, solid waste, and optimizing the water water conservation. Even in terms of energy initiatives, we are taking so many initiatives where we optimize the energy. And in fact, we are calculating. Earlier, we used to calculate cost per 1,000 pills or cost per metric ton. Now we started calculating cost per the energy consumption at every stage, and we can optimize our process where we can reduce the energy consumption as well. So we are working on those scope 1 reduction. Even we are improving our boiler efficiency. Currently, the oxygen level monitor is not there. We are incorporating IoT sensors where we will optimize oxygen consumption and improve the boiler efficiency. If low boiler efficiency, it will generate more carbon and even high, it consumes more coal. So we are optimizing, and it will be online monitoring to ensure that oxygen level is maintained. So these are the things that we are working on the environment. On the social front, we are also practicing the labor practices and ensuring there are no overtimes to the labor. And governance part, we are following the SBT mechanism where metrics updating transparently to the government and the compliance regulatory authorities. So these are the metrics we are following, and these are the initiatives.
Thank you, Dr. Suresh. I know when I was working with Granules India, I'll just share my experience with that. No, at that time, we Indian industry don't know much about. I'm talking about 2010, not today. We don't know much about we have not started the sustainability, social these things and all. The audit from Walmart. It happened, and it is not like other regulatory audits. It is not like it is a pass or fail. It is not like you'll get some observations and you comply and all. I still remember. I curse myself even now. We lost almost 6 months of business just because of that that audit. We were complacent like any other USFDA other regulatory audits, but the learning for me is very costly. Of course, from that day, even Granules India, I know that the developed paracetamol process itself is based on the green chemistry in 2000s. That's how. But they are like Dr. Rajaram has also mentioned. The industry, the regulators are like the way I mentioned earlier. They're all looking for. They're not looking for essays and impurities and all. It is gone now already. Yeah. Now we are moving to this to Mr. Nagarjuna. Yeah, okay. See, how feasible is it for pharma industry to move toward carbon neutral or a net zero manufacturing sites?
Yeah, thank you for the question, Dr. BVRK, and thank you, CII, for this opportunity to be a part of this panel. So everything is feasible, right? Like given the strategic investment,
Right.
and to have net neutral, I think most important thing is partnerships, right? Only with partnerships we will be able to achieve net neutrality. In silos or as an individual company, it is very, very hard, right? Like you need to have stronger partnerships with your customers, stronger partnerships with your suppliers, stronger partnerships with your peers, right? Like with your peers, like having these kind of forums, these kind of discussions, maybe taking representations to the government to ask them for help in having infrastructure in place for, especially for smaller companies, right? Like to who cannot afford. Bigger companies, they will be able to afford, but for smaller companies, they might need a little bit of help from the government, right? For that, partnerships with peers is also very, very crucial. So feasibility point of view, yes, it is feasible, but given the strategic investment and even investment also, right? Like, if you start seeing sustainability investments with a lens of efficiency gains rather than a cost center, then you can start realizing net neutrality goals slowly. So that's the feasibility.
No, thank you very much. Like Dr. Rajaram and Suresh also mentioned earlier, we should not see it as a cost, because we already moved to the stage where our buyers, investors, everyone is expecting this as part of our business. So at the same time, definitely there are going to be benefits. It looks like initial it's an investment, but it is like capital investment. Over a period of time, it is going to be. I hope it is going to be nullified with the benefits what we are going to get. Now I think our another Dr. Sridhar is quite for some time. Now, Dr. Sridhar, now with your clinical expertise and all, we'd like to know what are the global expectations on green chemistry and ESG. How does how it is different from India to others?
Yeah. So primarily, I would like to thank CII and the chair and the fellow panelists. So I came with some latest information. That's the reason Chakravarti sir has included me. I'm not the odd one out. So saying this, it's just a disclaimer. It is all my personal perspective. What I have seen with my experiences, not my current organization or previous organizations, anything to do with. So here in the green chemistry, why we are talking in this platform is the entirely environmental safety. That is what I echo what Dr. Suresh and Dr. Rajaram on the human safety point of view. So when we say this, the green chemistry now no longer is nice to have it. It is licensed to operate, one of the thing. And where if you see the US counterpart, where we have the California safer consumer product and this policy, everyone has to abide to it, and they have to follow this. That's became mandatory there. And whereas India, only all the manufacturers are only focused for the products which they are going for the export or global supply chain for EU and US. So in this context, mainly the focus is specifically to the requirement, whether it is there with the requirement or not. So, but gradually the regulations and everything as we are evolving, one means the overall in a global scenario, when we are seeing like international conference and where we can harmonize the things for the green chemistry is usage of the newer technology, which the previous panel was also discussing, and the current also, where I being the AI scientist in the Boston University from last 1.5 years, so we were trying to develop some of the new initiatives with the use of RSG, NLP languages, and also now we got a new material, because in AI we have just process automation, whereas we have automation or just text to voice conversion. So based on that, we select the languages, and when we are doing that, yes, it is a critical challenging because of the large process, but we are coming to an evaluation. One such project on the, one example is on the NDMA factors of the excipient to identify the larger quantities where the specifications are over meeting, that we were able to successfully meet that in that. Whereas the other things, like in this also in the green chemistry, we can implement from, because it is not, as we already experts have mentioned, that the waste management cost is very high. Rather than it can be used at the design concept, where we can implement this type of tools, where it can be automized and it can optimize the requirement of the molecules that we are going to develop, or the catalyst, whatever, how we can minimize that. It can screen, because this, though it is at the infancy stage, as we have some timelines, maybe the amount of the data, once we input it, the maturity of the product, means the process will increase. Once this is that, when we get the accuracy or the validated information from this, so this will be the troubleshooter for the current problems, which can be overcome in a short span, I would say, with the data. Without the data, no AI tool can be will be mature enough to understand. So wherever from the water consumption or from the effluent management, everything, this can be used as one of the tools. So in a investment point of view, this is one area which we start initiative this as a gradually in a phased manner. Definitely this will come to a yield where we can get more better, the usable solvents rather than the hazardous solvents or the effluents, which can be minimized. So this is what my thought process is.
See, it is a pleasant surprise. Now I realize why Mr. Chakravarti added you in the last minute. Like I never expected. I'm expecting you towards clinical pharmacologist and all, talking about completely AI, and I'm really appreciate your inputs into this. Now I request each one of you, starting from Nagarjuna, what is the one change the industry must make in next 3 to 5 years?
So in the next 3 to 5 years, so actually to add on to what Mr. Sridhar has said, comparing to global standards, India is like, we are still scratching the surface. We are not up to the mark, right? Like, in the US, if you see companies like Roche, they have publicized what their expectations are in terms of sustainability for their suppliers, right? In India, it's hardly like, our websites rarely talk about sustainability goals. And even if they're talking about sustainability goals, we are only talking about our sustainability goals, not our supplier sustainability goals. So the standard for like US is that high, like in the example of Roche. And EU, like, EU Green Deal mandates what ESG reporting, right? For us, like ESG reporting, so we are a EcoVadis rated company, so we are really proud of that certification. So we recently got that certification, and we did that only when there was a customer need, right? So here it is mostly like customer driven, not like voluntarily. So I think Greenco is also there now. I came to know, not before this. So being transparent about all these things would also help attain net neutrality and reach these sustainability goals. I personally felt the main reason why, like, India is lacking behind is because of awareness gap, right? Like not many people are aware of SBTI targets, scope 1, scope 2, scope 3 emissions. All so there is like a lot of awareness gaps. So what I feel is like, in the next 2 to 3 years, industry should mandate training, like for green chemistry or ESG. So there should be like a mandatory training, like just like we have GMP training or EHS trainings. I think green chemistry is to reduce wastage, and ESG is to, like, have responsible growth, right? So I feel like in the next 2 to 3 years, at some point, this green chemistry and ESG training has to be mandated.
Thank you, Nagarjuna. So creating training and awareness is the starting point of, like, moving towards that goal. Thank you, Suresh.
So next to 3 to 5 years in terms of sustainability. So generally when we design a product, so we maintain quality by design, but it should be now inclusive of sustainability. So quality and sustainability by design in the product. So thinking final end impact on the environment. And even we have to ensure from the life cycle of the entire product and even from the supplier point of view, we should ensure and make sensitize the team in terms of sustainability, what it is going to impact. Going forward, carbon credits are going to be a crucial. If you produce more and more carbon, so then we will be nowhere in manufacturing. So keeping in that mind, so to sustain in the system and to ensure that investors rely on us, we should focus on the end to end of the life cycle of the product and making a meaningful impact on the environment.
Thank you, Dr. Suresh. Like, what you mentioned is important. Quality and sustainability are no longer like, we cannot consider they are different now. Moving forward, it is to be together. Like, if you design your process, like, your end goal in mind, automatically you are achieving towards that goal. Thank you, Suresh.
So primarily, I would say that implement the AI-related technology-driven, so that we can reduce the effluent or catalyst optimization, as well as to minimize the carbon emission or convert the carbon to a useful solvents from the toxic solvents. So that's the concept.
Thank you. Like, you gave us a different viewpoint, and Dr. Rajaram talked about the biocatalyst. If there is a will, there is going to be a way as well, always. Like, usage of the technologies and AI, I think we are going to reduce the gap what we are having, like we are talking about. Dr. Rajaram, you want to add anything?
I think a lot of technical details have been shared. I will say one thing, don't follow the trend, right? Let's not play a catch-up game when it comes to sustainability. Can we actually create new standards? Right, and we have done this. UPI is a classic example. So rather than trying to play a catch-up game with US, Europe, or Nordic countries, this is the standard, let me play a catch-up game. Can we say, hey, I don't want to play a catch-up game. I want to be the leader. If I have to write a statement, I will actually write that. I'll say, hey, let's not play this catch-up. Let's be the leader.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Sunil. You want?
Yeah. So, see, India already achieved recognition as a pharmacy of the world, but that is because of our delivery and cost mainly. Now, in the next step, we need to maintain that status, of course, but in this ESG and sustainability is what we need to do, that we need to apply all those that, say, starting from flow, biotechnology, then electrochemistry, light mediated reaction, all those things. But ultimately, what is the goal? Say, apart from that pharmacy of the world tag, we need to be recognized as, say, sustainable chemistry hub of the world, India. And I think that Telangana can act as a great role in that respect. We are quite ahead compared to few other chemistry hub within the country. So let's work towards that. Let us earn that tag in terms of our delivery, not just the cost and volume. Okay, so that's what I would like to see. If not, I will be little skeptical whether that is possible to achieve within next 3 to 5 years, but maybe little more than that. Okay, so maybe 6 to 8 years. So that's what I would target for. As an Indian, so I will be very, very proud to see that before I retire actively from this field. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Sunil. Like Dr. Rajaram has also mentioned, we should be, like India already started becoming a leader. Like we are showing the world what we are. I hope we also, in this journey also, we will show that the same to the world. And of course, today's discussion shows the sustainability. I think my earlier this thing is also mentioned is not an option. That's what coming out of this discussion, we need to move towards green chemistry and look at how we can reduce the solvents, wastages, and of course carbon footprint. And so accordingly, we need to redesign our operations, processes to achieve that. And of course, ESG is there to measure, use that measurement tool to constantly measure it. The global expectations are very clear. The way our fellow panelists mentioned with their experiences. High quality medicines must also come with responsible manufacturing. That's what the expectation is from Dr. Rajara mentioned. COA is no longer your API potency or assay is going to be mentioned. So the expectations are completely different from maybe 5-6 years before to now. With this, I will thank all of my panelists and thank each and every one of you for attending this. And it's a learning for me as well, being a moderator, lot of things. And thank you very much once again.
And I think sustainability is not just about what we talk, right? It starts from us.
Right.
We use 3 toilet papers sometimes. Can we use 1?
That's true. That's a good one.
Right. Can we reduce napkins in our homes? Right. I think it starts.
Actually, we already have it. I feel like, Indians, we already have that mindset. We have that instinct for maximizing resource utilization and waste reduction.
Right.
So we just have to bring it. I think our forefathers already taught us that.
Yes.
Right? Like we just never formally articulated it, or we never formally documented it in a set of sustainability principles. It's not that Westerners have started it.
Yeah.
No, you rightly said it is there. See, by reducing the number of printers in the organization, you can save a lot of paper. Just to end to that, that's what I'm.
Well, what can I say? So every book has an ending, but yeah. This will have no ending at all. Yeah. But
Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3.
yeah, I'll say. And I like Mandal's accent. It's so sweet and music to the ears. See, everybody say who doesn't know me, they call me Bengali by name, but I don't even know a single word. But my experience with Kolkata is 40 years back, but love that combination. You have a wonderful combination on the panel, and I'm so glad once again, BVRK and all the panelists for your time and value and considering this is so important for yourself and for all of us also. That is more important actually. And as I said, this is not an ending actually. So once again, I request people to make best use of this occasion. And I also use this opportunity to advise or request to all of you. If anyone are not members, some of you are not CII members, you do not know the value of the CII membership. Many people think that TK is another association, another membership. So I also belong to so many associations, not that one association is great or another is not great or something like that. But CII has huge advantages. You have access from Delhi to Davos. So world is at your doorstep. If you become a member once, I think you have access to the whole world. And the who is who of Indian Inc. Or Global Inc. are at your doorstep. You have connectivity, networking, you can participate in multiple events across the world. This is the only national organization with international chapters physically in multiple countries. So become member, CII member. You have huge opportunities waiting for you. It's not just networking opportunities, knowledge sharing, and so much and so on. For you, for family, for your spouses, for your children, there are huge opportunities within the CII is just like an education actually. When you become a member, you will come to know. So even after, without being a member, you know what CII. You proudly claim I'm a member of CII, I'm a stakeholder of CII. That itself gives all of us a great feeling. So I use this opportunity to urge you to become members. Soon I will see at least Daniel, 10-15 of these attendees we must make. But be in touch. In fact, as I told you, this is not the end. The learning is a continuous process. It's like a book. Some people quoted, friendship is a book. Am I right, Mandal? But I add one more thing. Friendship is a book which doesn't have a last page. So this is my own creation. Sometimes I do that also. But so there is no last page. You keep writing the pages. It's an eternal. So thank you very much, my dear friends. Before going to the formal closing, I thank once again. Have a group picture.